because of the roster changes that have also occurred for them. We got a Boston Breach who's coming in with no changes, 0. They're very happy with where they're sat at right now. We have Team WaR who've unfortunately had some really, really difficult circumstances to have to deal with as well. And I think that also plays into challenges in a way as well, because we do see a lot more rotating roster changes, pickups, drops in challenges than we do in the professional Call of Duty League that we have. So it's just interesting to kind of see that dynamic switch and how maybe a little bit more consistency from Challengers teams might actually bode well for them. Yeah, and absolutely, I fully agree with you. We're very good with consistency when it comes to Europe, and I'm a huge fan of it. But what I'm also a fan of is seeing the map get started, Bryce, and we're off and underway here for Vault Hardpoint. It's Team WaR against the Boston Breach.
Certainly is. Well, we're going to have a look at how this one all gets locked down. And Boston Breach not having the greatest break-off they could possibly have. And this is one of the things I was trying to talk about. Like I said before, what I said about Team WaR is they are the underdogs, but there is always a chance here, and Assault is looking to try and put the hammer down. I don't normally judge an awful lot of P1 though, so just hold on for a minute.
Yeah, we won't be holding our breath, but this is indeed the start that you wanted. Neem and Assault with 3 each to kick us off here as they find plenty of purchase around P1. Is of course starting to look through for that P2. Boston Breach will be spawning in on that side, so it's all about locking it down, ensuring that you don't let any flankers through. Assault's going to be here to put up a bit of a final fight, try and clear mid, will be cut down, but there has been no clear rotation made by the Breach, so it's whether or not WaR can apply early pressure.
Here we go. The rotation is critical for these two teams. A good start coming in through it as well, and you can already see Boston lighting up in the kill feed. Got to be careful here, bit of a split spawn. They're going to know the players are now going to be towards the back. Really needs to win that gunfight. Snoop does want it, but he's been out of the fight for maybe too long, and you can already see Team WaR have taken advantage.
Yeah, this is what Boston were missing indeed. Just don't get themselves rotated in. You find WaR spotting that gap, splitting it, and well, Wake will find too, but he's answered out front, in through the back though, Boston. So an opportunity then to hold. How does that look as WaR apply from the front?
Oh, so far so good. It's a hard hit for them as well. They should be able to catch this one as well, but Bing finds the first one and the kill's going their way, and nobody turns, as Bing finds 3! Comms there, serious issue for Boston Breach. Nobody found that spawn towards the back in time.
And Coach Bink comes online because that's 4 in a row, and a break at a big moment to remind Breach that you will not be sauntering through this one. There's a big rotation now on towards 3. Breach players spawn in, start to head on over, but WaR drawing up a line. You already have presence in Trophy from 2 Real, so can you look on over? And this mid fight is huge for making sure you've got that mid entryway.
Well, now we watch, we wait. P3, never the money, but always a bit of a contest fest. Assault looking for it as well. We'll find Cammy as well. And I will say at this point, Team WaR doing a great job of keeping this tempo in their pockets. They really have not let much get away from them.
Purge here, just going to try and fill mid, turns, burns, and that's 3 in a row to ensure it's all locked down. 4th going to be on the point, so you know that they're all dead. You know where they're coming from if you are the Breach. And that's an opportunity to not just set up for now, but to consider your placings for obviously chaining into that money hill later on.
Well, that's what they needed. Purge to turn up, and he certainly is hitting pace just in terms of interaction so far this game as well. Still staying alive, still piling on the time. There's going to be his 5th here on this streak. Looking for more, dancing back and forth. Unfortunately, being in this position means he probably will go down sooner rather than later. No, backs off because realistically, Team WaR have allowed him to, and Snoopy catches 2 as well. They are putting them right back away from this rotation.
I love this decision from Purge. You will get that spawn in though over in L, so Breach will be, WaR will be able to apply close pressure, but that'll be shut down immediately. Purge awakening over the top as well, 3 dead, and this is where it suddenly feels like a little bit of a moment where Breach find their rhythm and their flow. What can WaR do to cut them out of it? Well, right now you've got to figure out getting through this first wave of Breach pressure.
Here we go, Purge still alive on a 9 streak now as well. There's a 10th, and it really is a purging. Boston Breach flip this one all around as there comes number 11. They have heated up in dramatic fashion, back off the back of this one, and somehow Assault wins that gunfight. That's the least 50-50 gunfight Purge has had in that entire streak, and yet somehow he gets taken down, but that is a money hill and a half. Boston Breach now leading by over 60 points going into the next set of rotations.
Yeah, absolute perfection. I mean, Purge goes on that huge spree, but it's that 3 in the middle to really open things up, chain things, and then into 3 and 4, and that will give you a healthy gap. And WaR now scrambling to try and find their way to find some sort of foothold here as Purge finds 2 more and is going on a tear. You called it a purging, but he's well and truly putting WaR to the sword.
Oh, here we go once again, and maybe this is just the confidence Boston Breach really needed to accelerate. Slow start, fantastic mid game so far. And now it will be Team WaR fighting from the back foot. P1 still very much up for anybody's here as both teams play for positioning. Nobody wants to get into this kill box quite yet.
And Breach will actually spawn in trophy side, so they might be hit and they might not be aware if you are WaR, so you're going to have to turn now. You're fighting on all fronts. 2Real's going to be weakened up, surely going to be cleaned up, and no, he actually gets coverage in from a teammate here as Assault finds Purge wrapping his backside. 15 seconds left on this for WaR. You were hoping to kind of push on over towards 2, and 2Real getting 2 full light side will allow you to squeeze out and put some pressure on this backside.
Now, second time Team WaR have done this, taking that early pressure onto that P2. But they lost it last time against Boston Breach, and both teams being a little bit loud here, we can hear on the stage. Will they be able to get this retake again? Already Bink trying to deflect the pressure. Knows where Awakening's going to be. Does have backup as well, though. Cammy going to be in the backfield. Pressure from the front at the same time. And you can see it's just kills all over the board, but it's all going to be Team WaR. They win every single gunfight, and that's going to lock down this hill for them.
Yeah, do so well as well, because I don't think you read that Cammy's coming in through the back. Purge now going to try and use that Hellstorm to break this open and finds nothing. So a complete waste of the investment. You're then getting spawn killed if you are Awakening. And well, for everything that Boston Breach did off the back of that 12 spree from Purge, WaR have answered back. They are well and truly in this and could take the lead by the end of this P2.
Well, they are going to, because this really isn't going to be that good of a push here from Boston Breach, I don't think. They will send bodies into it, but it's not going to be contested. Bink just cutting them down as they pop up from the windows. And now we go over to P3. Team WaR taking back the lead, even after a devastating P4.
And this is where Breach suddenly came on last time. Lock down the middle of the map, control that P3, especially late, and make sure you're set up for 4. But this is where Purge is at his most dangerous. He gets into this mid area with his Jackal and try and shut him down if you can. WaR will have potentially an opportunity to find him if Neum can get him through that vault route, but otherwise it's all on the front.
Purge just floating, waiting for players who know he's going to push him as well. Still winning these gunfights, taking away an alleyway that they could push from. Purge waiting to see if anybody gets through. He just watches over Cammy, and now he'll go back to mid again. The spawns have flipped a little bit. Keep an eye on 2Real. He'll hold this. 25 seconds to go, and Team WaR will look now for P4.
Yeah, potentially over-aggressive from Boston Breach there as they squeeze forward on P3. That gives WaR nowhere to go except for into Art Spawn, and as such gives them an opportunity. So it's handed over. We've seen you fight your way back into this game. What does it look like when you go for P4? You couldn't break last time. A hold typically considerably easier if you get your ARs in place. And Assault being one of them, I like the decision. Back up, play your life, let your boys cover over from the balconies.
And this is a very important break. This first one onto P4. Assault, though, already catches one. Neum catches Awakening as well. Outnumbered, outgunned, and outfunned. Oh, my goodness. This is flipping again. P3's been good for Boston. P4 was fantastic for them last time. But now they find themselves outside in the cold as Assault catches 2 more on the timing. Boston Breach are looking fragmented.
And it does feel like that little bit of split push is coming through. That little bit of a slap in the face has come through. Breach being reminded about how good WaR are. Reminder, Bink is their coach coming in for this. A minute in the hill and an SMG in hand, looking good with it. You are going to get close if you Breach, but you're just not finding any sort of actual breakthrough. If it was a great money hold last time from the Breach, WaR have answered back with their own. Final 15 seconds, and you've already started to get that push out from Neum to relieve your pressure to get towards P1.
Well, they're trying to get into this, and not even scrap time available for them. And already Neum is out. Will his pinch be perfect? That's what they're waiting for. He wants to know when these engagements happen. Can I strike now? Can I catch them on the flank? Already going down. He will strike. He's in the backfield. Neum should be able to find a couple here. Finds one at least, and Bink will find 2. And he finds the second. That's exactly what they were waiting for. Team WaR, underdogs no longer. They are leading as we approach this 200-point mark, and the game could very much be in their hands to lose.
And Neum's 24 and 20, and timing about it will find his way into that point. You do have P1. It's all about, again, watching for this P2. WaR have had to break it twice. They've achieved that successfully. You do not want to continue to put your eggs in that basket, though. And Purge now getting that wrap in through the backside into this one. Finds 2. And, well, the spawns will continue to hold in for WaR. But right now, again, just slowing that down, understanding exactly what you need to control. And that from Neum, potentially over-aggressive, will, though, be slowed down as this pressure comes in through mid. And now WaR well and truly in the lead and looking comfortable.
Boston Breach just not finding the kills they need. A lot of time there for Cammy, but he just hasn't been able to get into the fight as much as he would like as they've left him onto those points. But Team WaR, they can smell this now. They know this is already a big scalp to take on. Map 1 at the Hardpoint, and they just need 34 seconds to do so.
You've got two bodies in the point. You are spawning close. You're a little bit worried about that pressure coming in through the backside. It isn't arriving just yet. It's all going to be from mid if you are Breach, as you set up to do one last hit here. Two Real will find the first Bink with another, so you're lacking numbers. If you are Breached, you are all four wiped, but you get the close spawn. You can hit this again.
Unfortunately, this is a difficult hit. Will they call this as well? He has pushed out. They're going to know this coming through the back as well. Bink just gets two and a collateral. The third one for Bink, but that's all he needs. A 5-streak for him as well. And with 4 seconds to go, they cannot make it. Team WaR upset map 1.
And if you can hear it, ladies and gentlemen, it's loud out on that stage. And it's only coming from the left-hand side, Team WaR bellowing as they sign off with a map 1 here, 250 to 161. None of us saw that coming when Purge went on a 12 spree through the middle of the map. No one saw that coming when Breach went and changed P3 into P4. But WaR well and truly lock it down, go huge, and well, we sub in your coach. And who's going to understand the systems better than him as he helps set up his boys and they march on forward?
And that is certainly an unbelievable turn of events. Boston Breach beaten on map number 1. And this is what I said, a Call of Duty chance for any team to win on the day. For Team WaR, a momentum, a monumentous shift as well in terms of mentality. Confident coming into it, but the nerves certainly would have been there facing against a pro team. Pro team no longer. All of that pressure already evaporated. They know now they can bleed.
And that's the important thing, right? You're shark in the water, you smell that, you understand now we have a great chance in this series. And it's all, again, that if you have a plan, so you get punched in the face. Breach now understand. They will not have many opportunities to make more mistakes. WaR will capitalize on them as we get a look back at that map 1. And a story that, again, for Team WaR, I thought by the time Purge finished that 12 spree, we were done. This was going to be a quick 3-0. This was going to be relatively over with. And the clear understanding between the 4 of them of, well, we may as well just continue to send at this. Neum has himself an impressive performance, but Assault drops 3,600 damage, every bit a part of that victory.
Certainly was. And you got to give credit, realistically, once Purge went on that 12 streak, thought, well, that's it, Boston are off to the races. They're having a great time here as well. But every single hill after, they just weren't winning key gunfights. They didn't have the rotations they wanted to either. And Team WaR just kept clawing back over and over and over again. And realistically, once Boston breached, once they completed that hill there, they just did not get an awful lot of points for the rest of the game. They just weren't able to capitalize on it. Their P4 to P1 wasn't great. They kept losing that P2 rotation. P3 was their highlight. It's where they got the majority of their points on that last set of rotations. But when they lost P4 again, you're like, well, this is just going disastrously for them. They're just not getting to any hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those moments where if we're looking at this whole pro, semi-pro conversation, for Breach, you're expecting them to be the proactive team, them to take the initiative. Towards the end of the P4 that WaR hold, Neum's already on his bike. He's on the opposite side of the map, sets up that pinch to collapse in towards P1. And it's moments like that where Breach suddenly go, where the hell did he come from? How have we missed this? We're supposed to have an extra voice in the comms. And then they understand that they're all at sea. And, well, WaR, they well and truly capitalized. Beautiful stuff yet again from them. And, I mean, this starts to open us up to a couple of other questions, of course, around this series. But as we get a look continuously at these highlights, Assault popping off in big moments. We talked about him and 2Real, the experienced duo in that lineup. They've been up in that top echelon. You've got Neon, this superstar, starting to come through. Bink, as a coach, he comes into that setup. He's playing a lot around that hill. He's trying to just be the glue guy for the rest of the team. Honestly, that system was perfect in terms of pulling Breach apart.
Yeah, and it worked so well. You can see here, well, I mean, that's just a play from Neum, realistically, not appearing at the same time. For Bink, obviously, they lined up for him into this case and didn't even really need the help of the teammates, just continued to rain bullets down the choke point. And at that point in the game, it may have been too late to do anything anyway, but confidence overflowing now from Team WaR.
It is indeed, and it's all about tempering that as we march on towards our second map, which is of course going to be that Hacienda Search and Destroy. And there's a couple of different storylines going into that one. Of course, we've talked about the roller coaster series that this may now become, but it's a case for, we spoke a little bit to 2Real before coming out towards Saudi Arabia. They said they want to be a fantastic team at Search and Destroy. That's very tough against the Boston Breach team that have been good at Search all year long. And also, we go to Hacienda. This is a map that Breach love to play on. They're very strong here when it comes to their first bloods. The defenses are pretty much flawless, and they love to change pace a lot. They tend to go very aggressive one round, then slow it right down the second round. And that, for me, when it comes to WaR, it's a case of, okay, are you going to be able to play those mind games? Despite walking away with map 1, you want to carry that momentum into 2 and start off well.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I mean, I always think S&D is a big swing map for every single team and every single matchup and basically every single way. We've seen S&D specialists before, but I think nowadays you just have such kind of definitive games in S&D. We always see it kind of be a bit of a, how do I put this, a bit of a contest. If you're a good S&D team, obviously you can go the distance. Most of the time, you steal a respawn, you get further on. But it seems that there are so many divides nowadays of teams that are good at respawn and good at S&D that it's kind of strange. It's not been as defined back in the past as it is now. Obviously, if you're Boston, you want this S&D. Team WaR, they know if they can go 2-0 up in this series, they will be smiling from ear to ear. But it is still a big ask for both teams.
It is. And pressure starts to mount. The celebrations, they've calmed, they've quietened. Suddenly there is a hushed air in here as WaR potentially recognize that that upset is actually on, and Breach very much so recognize that that is on. We take a quick look at the gents here. We've spoken about the way the system works. It tends to be quite a couple of players here. You do have people like Purge starting to become those vocal leaders, those intangibles. And during that break, that little bit of downtime that we've had, it's very important that he's gotten into the ears of his teammates. Relax, boys. It's one map. It's not a series. It's completely fine. We just go again here and do our thing in map 2.
Well, we'll find out. There was definitely some conversation going on with the admin staff there. I did think since some fist bumps came out and the players were looking to get ready for it, but I'm just curious to see where they go. There's another fist bump. That does look like we are about to get ready for this S&D. Everybody lock in, lean forward, and work out what your first break's going to be.
For the Breach on this Hacienda search, they love to start offensively. I haven't actually managed to get a look at who is going to be on the offensive side, but this will be actually offensive for Breach then, so this is comfortable for them. This is something they love to do, and you're looking to get Purge in through this middle here. He loves to flood into wine and find his route through the back, but he needs coverage from his boys.
Got to be a little bit cautious. Big already finds one though, and that is unbelievable. 2Real takes down the second. An advantage here. Snoopy gets one back at the same time, but should be caught by 2Real and will be. Purge now in a 1 versus 3. 2Real should back off of that one and does. They can now play with him. They know where he is. They know they already have the advantage and they have map control. Do not give him the 1v1s.
They also have bomb down as well. They should understand here that they can just drop off, force Purge into their web. And he does find a fight, but Assault cuts him down. So a great start from WaR, continuing that momentum off from map 1. And you see a play there, potentially a bit of homework coming through actually from Team WaR. They understand what Breach wanted to do. The 3 players over the top are going to try and cover over Purge, allow him to slip the net a little bit, and they never get close.
Here we go. It's always a bit difficult on round 1 to judge things, simply because the no trophy systems does change a lot of breaks and a lot of timing for these players. This one will go back into the playbook and they'll say, right, round 2, different routes, different opportunities. And they have that little bit of a buffer with the trophy systems that go down, but it will be Team WaR on the attack this time and hoping to get that second round already sorted.
He's going to try and watch for this bit of mid-map control. But his boys are well and truly off towards the races here at B. Typically for Breach, very good at set-nading it, ensuring that they get that early intel. Doesn't come through. Awakening's going to step over from Boathouse and doesn't find the kill. So bomb goes down. Watch those boys start to collapse now. Actually, Neum's going to stay out. So keep an eye on his route as he may collapse in through the back to counter-pinch this.
They're looking for it as well. A lot of pressure coming on Assault. It's going to be under trouble and looking for that first kill. There's so many bodies here. Everybody pile in and Assault gets away with it. Cammy left in a 1 versus 2. Can he find the kills in time? No, he cannot. That is traded. That is done. Team WaR take the second round, the S&D.
Absolutely love the play there from Neum as well. The fact that he's willing to arrive late to that party. So often that person out on the outside towards well side will drop back through their own spawn. They then become just a part of the 4 bodies trying to hold down the site. But he understands that his boys are going to be trading that situation out. If he arrives correctly in through the middle, kind of a callback to the map 1 where we see him wait for that pinch, wait for that opportunity to collapse. He does exactly that and is part of that final kill. So great work here out of WaR. Very much so seizing the initiative in these early rounds.
Here we go then, Boston Breach on the attack against a jubilant Team WaR side. This is a heavy push as well. They're looking forward towards A. Nobody's found anybody either, but they are stacking this side of the map. Snoopy in an advanced position, but Cammy already getting picked off first blood. And now they're wondering, where do we go? What do we have?
Well, very little is going to be the answer, and not even the bomb as it falls in the hallway. A 1v3, Purge again last alive here. Potentially a little bit separated in these opening rounds on the offenses. And well, he's going to get spotted crossing the courtyard. Some beautiful return shots, but will be cleaned up by Bink. So WaR 3 in a row here. And well, Breach looks stunned, understandably so. I think that you're expecting, you know, you've been drawn against this team. They've had all these last-second roster changes. This should be a walk in the park. Anything but as they stare down the barrel of 3 rounds lost in a row and a map 1 loss.
And for Boston Breach, this is looking worse and worse by the second. They will now be getting frustrated. They will be upset. They got quite handily beaten on that hard point. They've come into the S&D and have yet to draw a round.
There's a heavy defensive aggression over towards B. They do not want to let that play slip the net this time round. But WaR, it's more of a flood to A anyway. There was some mid-map presence, and when you saw nothing, you recognized the play coming through, but Purge is very aggressive on it and finds the first 2.
Finally a bake for Boston Breach. They managed to get it, but it goes back down to a 2 versus 2 already.
Oh.
Awakening will find Liam, bring it back to a 2 versus 1 as Awakening finds a second. Boston finally get that round on the board they needed. And it came off the back of Purge finding 2 onto the bomb. It was not secure enough for Team WaR.
Now, perhaps over angsty to get that down, maybe seeing that little bit of nerve come through, that little bit of inexperience, not understanding how quickly Breach could cross the map. Needed that player potentially up high, just watching over the middle of the courtyard. You don't really have any intel there, and once Purge gets into that Archer's area, he has himself a field day. So WaR, then you finally get answered back. You are going to be on the defense here. It was solid last time out, but Breach, they're changing it up. They're flooding A.
It's aggressive. Already those trophies down, doing the work they need to. Awakening, second trophy down for them. A huge commit here for it as well. But Awakening might get bad timing. He does. 2 real takes advantage at the same time. And no, somehow Snoopy gets him and they don't get the trade back. Down to a 3 versus 3, but Boston are pinned. They don't know where to go. Snoopy finds another one that might get something out of them, and Cammy gets one more. And that could have been bad for Boston, but at the moment it's Team WaR in the disadvantage. There's a 1 versus 3.
Assault needs to find one of these exits realistically. He's going to get wide swung here, and yeah, a double child will clean it up. I will say it's potentially, I hate to call him out because obviously he's a coach subbing in at the last second here, but overextensive really from Bink. He starts to chase into a fight, becomes isolated from his boys, and is basically in a 1v2 in that moment. And from there, it all falls apart if you are WaR. But still, it wasn't around 4 Breach where you felt entirely comfortable. You see those 2 trophies go out. It's bad timing for WaR because he loses that blood. But you end up in a situation where if there isn't that overextensive play, they didn't really have the progress towards the bomb site that they wanted to on that aggressive playbook.
Well, it worked out for them. Could have gone bad, but all things that end well are all good by me. So we'll see whether or not that continues for Boston. They haven't committed here. This is the same play they made last time. So basically, Team WaR are trying to draw them out towards A. Get in towards A, sneak into B, get the plant down, play post-plant. And they're going to do the exact same thing again. Awakening is here earlier than he was last time. Liam, I don't know if he saw both at the same time, but he will. Oh, Snoopy, that is a wonderful kill from him. They needed that not to have that massive disadvantage. And also, it puts them on the back foot. Team WaR now know they have to look 2 different directions.
And you're actually going to get the Snoopy dropped in through the mid here as well. So as Bink finds one, do you read him coming through? The answer is no. And well, Breach have come out swinging. Went 3 down. We talked about how they were getting more and more frustrated. But they've started to put those pieces together here. 3 rounds in a row. And well, how the vibe shifts in the arena. It's a lot more active on that side in green. WaR suddenly having to figure out whether or not they've got depth to these plays. They've tried that play, just had to pull them on over towards A, then get that bomb down towards B. First time, not a problem. This second go, well, they were well and truly countered.
Double flank almost went disastrous. I cannot emphasize enough how big that kill was from Snoopy. It was a turn and burn, had a little bit of warning as his teammate went down, but if he didn't make it, it was a 2 versus 4 all from the front. It just would not have worked. The 1 kill completely changed the tempo of that round, and Boston have swung back into this S&D in dramatic fashion.
Sending 3 off towards this B bomb site. They will be met by 2 though, and I think that stun catches one of them, so it slows the push. And well, I like this play. They don't overinvest. They're not trying to force it. They understand that WaR have that ground. Let's try and re-hit this from middle, find ourselves a bit of purchase.
Well, here we go. Again, Snoopy, aggression going forward. A little bit of map control from them as well. You can already see Team WaR moving though. Ready to envelop this, and he did get the bomb down, but loses his life. Does not get away clean.
And bomb down is going to force WaR to flood though. Now giving it a moment just to respectfully try and find a bit of more Purge on the kills. Purge here though with a wrap in through the back. He could be the difference maker as he finds Assault.
Looks for one, trying to put the pressure on as well. And this has completely worked for them. Boston Breach, 4 rounds now in a row. Lost that player on the plant, does not matter at all. There's Purge on the flank, and realistically, I think the rest of the team was actually in a better position than you gave them credit for. They did lose a little bit of site control, waiting for Purge to hit that flank, and then everybody died at once.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Purge gets out, the fact that he slips the net so freely, there's nothing there to read that if you are Team WaR. And as such, you end up with that play collapsing in through the back. It's glorious out of Boston Breach. A post plant from the playbook. And now up 4-3, leading in this one.
And Team WaR are wondering what on earth has happened. This is a massive jam!
Oh,
a 3-man town. Turiel's like, oh, I'll have a little bit of a look, but already down he goes. Put that one out of the playbook. Boston Breach called that one and said, all right, well, we've got 3 here against you, and they just were not expecting a target-rich environment. And what a turn of fortune. Boston Breach firing on all cylinders now as they go 5 rounds back-to-back.
Well, Boston Breach have done such a good job these last couple of rounds of just shutting down those bomb sites. And I think they read actually what WaR are going to try and do here is punch us through the middle and split us. And so they call it, they counter it, and it works out well and truly in their favor. Target rich is definitely the way to describe that. It's 2 real rounds that corner, no chance given. And Boston Breach now on that point.
They're leaving Cammy as what I like to call the hook. One player over here just watching your flank. The rest of them straight on to B. Cammy already backing up. Put that trophy out towards A as well to kind of bait them to think there's a player there for a little bit of time. But Cammy waiting on the flank, hasn't caught anyone quite yet. We'll have to get into this fight in a few seconds once this first push comes through.
Could be all on him here. He might get in through the back of Purge. Big fight, does find the kill, but your teammates, I mean, they're hitting this at totally different times. And, well, it will all fall apart. 2v3 with 20 seconds on the clock, realistically.
Cammy's already moved up to give him a bit of mid-control. The RCXD is going to come out from Assault here. He needs to find one. He does. He gets Snoopy as well. The rest of them moving into this one, and Assault finds his seconds. Cammy now in a 1 versus 1 against Neum. He's dipping, he's dodging, he's diving, but Neum managed to find it as well. Cammy swings a little bit too wide on the shoulder, and Team WaR stay alive. Assault made an amazing play. RCXD, and then he went for the chow. He found his second, and somehow the unwinnable has flipped towards them.
Also understanding, if you're Neum at the start there, recognizing Purge loves those boat routes. He loves to swim out and get himself inside boathouse, and Neum doesn't go through that traditional route up through the steps. He instead plays far out and finds that first blood, allows him to continue to hit through that route uncontested, doesn't give Purge the opportunity to stab them in the back, and as such, just helps them with that fight. But you're right, goes to Assault, all flowers handed over. He makes that big play, gives you an opportunity as you finally stem the bleeding. But it's got to be fully cauterized, otherwise Breach will close this out here.
Well, here we go. Still game on. Here comes a push. Team WaR. At the moment, distribution means they're heading towards A. There, Cammy's been seen. Bink knows he's going to be there as well. Already trophies working overtime to try and keep players alive, and that is a bit of a bad name. Fortunately, it's not a Semtex, it's a name, so it bounces.
You find that blood if you Assault on Purge. That was catching Purge trying to hit a wrap in through P2, in through the backside here, get that flank going as he so often likes to do. You still have opportunity to draw that defensive line if you are Breach, but you're going to be spread. And a lack of intel as well as WaR decide what we're going to do, put that numbers advantage to use, roll up together and hit A.
Cammy going to be the first one to find anything here as well. Does find it, backs off, quickly plays his life. He is being chased down as well, though cannot get back out as Snoopy finds a second. Down to a 2 versus 2. Snoopy is going to be weak here as well. They haven't planted it yet. They're looking for him. They're going for the kills. They're going to find him as well. 2 Real has found both of them. He might be able to get them at the same time. It's going to be a huge flank. It's 2 Real. Finds one, not the second. Snoopy now to 1 versus 1. Looking for Assault. Assault just getting out of there. That bomb is not in a position yet.
It is recovered. You've got to go, though. If you are Assault, you've got to make a decision here. He's trying to bait Snoopy into thinking there's a plank coming through, and it might well be now. And Snoopy closes us out here on the Hacienda Search and Destroy. Puts that time to great impact, just bleeding it down, giving Assault no other decision, and forcing him into that bomb fight, of which there was only going to be one winner. Breach answers back here after a slap in the mouth in map 1, and to be honest, they're stunning all the way through the first half of this, but they rolled back as the pro team they are and showed up big here. That deep playbook that they have so often showed on Hacienda.
Certainly could have gone wrong for them. You saw it going back and forth in that last round. Snoopy managing to get away with it, but I thought 2Real had that one in the bag. Realistically, he saw both players. He hit the flank, found the first, and Snoopy was just so tucked in that corner, he was not able to turn in time to get the second. And Snoopy staying alive in that one. Assault could not get his trade either. And that's the way it goes sometimes.
Does indeed. And a moment there then to assess the series and where we lie after 2 maps. 250 to 161. You are reading that correctly. Team WaR come out and stun here, but Breach answer back, ties us up, looking ahead at 3 other maps. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw ourselves to a quick break, so we'll catch you on the other side.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to EWC. We have a game on our stage right now. Team WaR and Boston Breach are throwing haymakers, and so far all tied up. Fantastic first Hardpoint from Team WaR. Boston Breach, though, looked like they could take a bit of a beating in the S&D, but fired back with 5 rounds back-to-back and have got this series all tied up.
Yeah, and it was very important for Breach to do so because S&D has been their bread and butter basically all season. It's the one where they've really hung in. We now move over to a Control after this, and this is where they've suddenly come online recently. They'd really struggled through a lot of the year, kind of factoring in with that respawn element of not being good at Hardpoint either. And while Hardpoint, we are still seeing issues as showcased in this very series. The Control just seems to be somewhere where they've really profited from the dynamic situation when it comes to the points of ingress. So for Boston here, it's a case of continuing that, but I think here, you know, we're tied up 1 apiece. WaR plenty in this. They have looked great, especially in the back half of that Hardpoint.
Well, let's see if they continue into this next respawn. That'll be the question. Still, Smiles, still happy on that side of the stage. Really wanted that S&D run they had in the first bit to continue. 3 rounds back-to-back. Unfortunately, after that, Boston adapted and fired back like the caliber of team they really are. And for me, this leads this entire thing wide open. For Boston, they will not want to lose another respawn.
They will not. And I do wonder as well, looking at this series and the map pool that we ended up with, this is Protocol. Boston banned this more often than not, so I wonder if this was supposed to be a testing of the map pool. Could we figure out a couple of strategies coming into this tournament? I think they would have expected to be in a 2-0 position right now, making that decision, but they've ended up instead tied up at 1 apiece, so I wonder how much of that decision they regret. We will find out, of course, by the end of this, or whether or not the test that you get will help you perform better through the rest of the tournament. Again, these 4 have been together for so long, grown so much recently. They certainly have it within them, the capacity to learn as they go. And they certainly want to figure that out, though, with a victory here in map 3.
Well, here we go. Let's see the break. Let's see how these teams are going so far. And Snoopy already pre-firing, almost catches a player there from WaR. But everybody is still looking for these first couple of kills. Purge will find Assault. Snoopy checking the coast is clearly. Might challenge player here as well, but just a bit of positioning. Pink! Oh my goodness, almost got away from him there in the end, but not quite.
Yeah, just about survives that one. Didn't look too pretty up here on the casting booth. And well, the first tick, I don't think it actually fully came through. I think you got a half step on here to clear this up, and you bait a couple of players in. And you start to find plenty of purchase in those kills. Players coming back off the respawn if you are WaR. You do find a little bit of something, but you're looking a lot at 2Real here to kind of stop this Boston Breach wave that's hemming you in.
Well, here we go at the moment. Just trying to get onto the point here. Bing is going to hit the flank. I'm unsure if they know where he's going to be. This should be an easy couple of kills for him. Finds the first. Looking for a next one on the rotation. Isn't going to get it. Purge shuts him down before he can do any more. Purge again in that kill feed. But it's just going to be enough. 2Real takes down Cammy and tries to push his advantage. At the moment, WaR are holding.
They are indeed. Boston, I wonder how much they regret not clearing that B capture. They stepped off before that segment fully came through. Assault tries to check over the helicopter and will be back down. Just about stays alive for a moment, but Purge continuing to be a thorn in the side here. 7-2 start. Just needs a little bit of support in from the teammates, but 2Real, he'll match him in the middle. Cammy will trade it back out. You're not far away if you are Breach. We've only 20 seconds to really take another swing at this.
Well, they need to make these kills first. That's the most important part. Make the kills, get out, get map control, and then commit. Unfortunately, that time is ticking away. They don't have the kills or the positioning. They will jump onto the point, though, and 2 from Cammy. It might be enough. Quiet series from him so far. Has this been enough to turn the tide?
Second tick comes through. Cammy with one and Awakening with another. So it's likely about that transition over towards B. The defensive line won't be here for WaR. And you hear Cammy break in through glass, but he might be able to slip away. Huge fight with 2Real here that could give you plenty of advantages in terms of positioning. And those kills will now let you onto B and Breach with an opportunity to squeeze WaR.
Can't find Cammy. They've got to be watching their backfield. They know he could be in there. Obviously, we can see on the minimap he is not, but so far fighting from the front. Neon, that's a huge 2 to get as Snoopy falls as well. Team WaR will stabilize on that push. They've done enough.
Purge spots 2Real underneath here, 4v5. So imperative here that he doesn't get caught and fall, but you see that double hit it coming through. Snoopy, Cammy, they play off the back of that information, make it a 3v4. So essentially an S&D in front of us right here, but only 30 seconds on the clock. Breach have got to go.
Neem in a great place, shutting down everything down low. They're unsure if they want to take him on. 25 seconds, Boston Breach. The calls must be perfect. Where are we going? How are we doing it? Team WaR, they know they just need a hold. And Neem again, I keep seeing him in the kill feed, and it's at important moments. Snoopy finds the first one though as well. Assault throws his shoulder, but it's going to be seen. Awakening takes down Neem, and they are back on the point.
That's how you hold. As Assault tries to find the look over from the top of the turret. You run along the barrel, you check one way, get shot from the other. Potentially a window there, but it is closed as Boston Breach, see that off in eliminations. And, well, there was plenty of reason there to believe that they weren't going to get that round through. It looked slow when we started talking about A, but it was that moment where they get pushed up in the spawn, managed to find a couple of kills. You did eventually get out if you're WaR, but it feels like that was the dagger that slowed all the progress you'd made early on.
And in WaR, I mean, there are flashes of potential there. There's so many opportunities. I will say I think Neem was a highlight for me, just over and over again, finding crucial kills. 10 and 8 doesn't sound that impressive, but the quality of the 10 was very, very good. But unfortunately, on the other side, Cammy had a great 10. We saw him open up proceedings to get back onto that 8 point and give them the time to win that round.
And that war wages on as Cammy finds Neem in the first, the headshot at range. And Snoopy then finds Bink. Snoopy finds 2Real, and all of a sudden, you've only got Assault stopping yourself being trapped in here to that spawn trap we've seen so many times through the year, the one that bleeds you so heavily. As Snoopy continues to just find his roots here through the arches, now looking over towards Heli as well, will be eventually cut down, but not before Purge can then arrive.
Awakening. Finds one kill. Purge looking for it on it as well, but that actually opens up the map completely. Boston Breach now floundering in the backfield. Cammy will find one, but unfortunately he is massively outnumbered. Oh my goodness, Assault gives him a brow to shoot and he rips it asunder.
Holding, eyeing it up here if you are Breach. Just trying to figure out where WaR are making this play from. There's going to be kills down low, actually, and this is something that Breach didn't do much of last time round. So WaR trying to get creative, and they need to. With 30 seconds on the clock, 3 lives down, they must find a break. 2Real will find the first onto Purge, so is this the moment where the flood comes through? It looks like the attention started to turn towards B. Huge fight over there as 2Real finds Snoopy, and that could start to send a couple of players scrambling, and Breach, they have to make sure they close this up here. This could get very messy.
Awakening tries to overextend to put a bit of pressure on towards the back here. It's going to work. A bit of a headbutt going through as well. Purge still waiting to try to get into position here, but 2Real kills Neem, and that could be bad because that is a horrible trade for them as well. Bink is going to try and find Purge. He loses that gunfight at the same time, and what could have been wonderful for Team WaR turns into a rout, and they are now coming out of spawn with 11 seconds to go. Dreams almost in tatters.
And 2Real's just going to put his head down and go at this point. I don't think there's enough time left on the clock. 3 seconds, you'll get into top grandmas. You will find one. Do you dive? Do you touch? No, is the answer. A half second later, and you make it maybe, but it felt like delaying the inevitable. Boston Breach, 2 rounds up here. I think if you're Team WaR, you're surprised at this because you had the opportunity to close out that first round. It was in your hands, your destiny. You could have controlled it. And instead, the fact that Boston hold firm on the defense, that doesn't surprise us, but that offensive round has got to be a stinger right now. And I felt like we saw it towards the end. You saw them start to make those plays under the map. You start to get into the bottom side and become a bit more creative if you are WaR. But it's too little, too late realistically. And, well, by then, Breach were able to just mop up what they've done so well of through the start of that round.
Well, for Boston, 1 round to lock down this next respawn. It's everything they want, but still an attacking round to go. Not the easiest to complete if you do not get a good start. That has been quite key on this map many, many times in the past.
Snoopy finds Bink, who was trying to slip the net just a little bit. And Assault then picked off as well. You're already on B if you are Boston Breach. You then find Purges at A as well, so you're starting to push up. Bink just going to try and be the thorn in the side at B, and well, 2 players can essentially step on B, 2 on A as well. WaR scrambling. They've just got to pick one, put all the eggs in one basket, and send. And Wake, well, he's cutting down any reinforcements through bottom grandmas.
At the moment, it looks like they've backed up a bit. Boston quite happy. Awakening and Cammy combining, but eventually going down as well. That's not what they wanted to. Should capture A regardless. Locking in for this one. 2 minutes on the clock. Boston have only lost 4 lives so far to get this.
Purge here just squeezing at tower, finds a big 2-piece just before we transition over to him, and it opens up the rotation for his teammates. You can see him flexing onto that AR and putting it to great effect here. Awakening on the point, could receive some pressure, does get found by 2Real. You're halfway through that second tick. The numbers do arrive though, but if you're WaR, you're 7 lives down. Breach have a minute 50 to play with this, and a lot of opportunity to just dwindle through the lives that remain. Shots like that will certainly do it.
Cammy is gunning. 20 and 11 so far into this one. We said he looked good so far in the first couple of rounds, and he has continued to do so. Pixels getting ripped apart every time he sees them. Finds 2Real as well on the reinforcement. Snoopy now back onto the point. Awakening finds a third, and only one player left to be the hero here as Cammy finds him as well. Assault cannot catch a break, and that should be all they wrote as Boston Breach 3-0 Team WaR on the respawn control.
And we said that recently you had improved dramatically at this mode if you are Breach. A sudden understanding between them about how they want to play it, about transitions from A sites to B sites, when they have to make impactful plays happen. But the thing is, it was all about the protocol. This is a map that Boston didn't like to play. They'd banned it so often through our competitive year, and yet they step out here and show the biggest gap that we have seen so far through this series. Pro team stepping up and standing tall. And, well, how the moods have changed, my friend, as we glance over to Team WaR. A little bit of disbelief on the faces. I guess it's not about the loss. You're kind of walking into this one, very much so the underdog. It's the manner in which it comes through, because it's a 3-0, and it felt like a 3-0.
Yeah, no, it really did.
Yeah.
It really felt quite one-sided. Obviously, highlights for Team WaR, probably that first round. They had the opportunity to shut it down. Unfortunately, we spoke about him before, Cammy looked like he was shooting very, very well. He opened up the A point, and then after that, Cammy continued to do what he does best. Cut down the reinforcements, rip people off headies, and once that starts happening, the players have a lot more latitude to run around. Snoopy can find gaps, Purge can continue to slay out, and Awakening joined his brother there with the AR and said, all right, let's put these boys to bed.
And that they did. I mean, you got to think from these Team WaR players. You're coming into this, you've gotten that map won. It's very much so a jubilant moment, but from midway through that S&D, it has been kick in the teeth after kick in the teeth. And you try to come off spawn there. Cammy's got that mid lockdown, as you said. He is cutting you apart before you get close. This is where you look towards your vocal leaders. This is where you look towards the person who can, especially in this kind of environment here on LAN, tap you on the arm and say, don't worry, gentlemen. Remember, we're the underdogs here. Whatever we achieve together. Got to come out swinging in this 4, but I mean, it's jubilant on one side of the stage, that's for sure.
So this is something I didn't get a chance to say in the pre-show here. So there's an interesting thing with Cammy, right? I'm a fan of Cammy, obviously watching Cold War and going all the way back then. One of Cammy's biggest flaws is his confidence. And then people at home moan on this, it's his confidence for Cammy. It's always been confidence. If he's comfortable in a team and he's happy in a team, he will do very, very well. If he's not, he's going to look bad. And it's as simple as that. Basically, you can always tell. A confident Cammy is a dangerous Cammy. He doesn't always have that confidence. It has plagued his career year after year. At the moment, I just saw him smiling. That is a wolfish smile. That is a dangerous smile to see. If he is feeling himself now heading into this next hardpoint, it is a danger to behold.
It is indeed, and we talked about how well he was shooting. I'm fully with you. This is the Cammy from Cold War when you start to see that smile come across your face. And the thing is as well for Team WaR on the opposite side, just staring across being like, okay, that guy's feeling himself. This is going to be a tough game coming up. But in this environment as well, you can see, you know, Shawnee stood in behind, pats on the back, celebrations all around the room. Breach looking great here as we finish map 3 and begin the load up into map 4. Trying to find some positives, I guess, for WaR. Neum still looked very good out there. Felt like he had some impact. He is a new player coming into this. We're going to take a look at the scoreboard. He's the only one that goes positive on Team WaR. It is tough reading for Assault, which is very flip from map 1, where he put up 3,600 damage and, quite frankly, ruled a lot of the roost. But Cammy, the standout, 22 and 11, 2,400 damage out here to help lead his team on the way to victory. And, I mean, the amount of offensive kills as well there, 18. It's not that he's just supporting. It's not that he's just picking up lanes. Huge on the point and making sure that they saw this out cleanly.
Well, let's find out. Hacienda Hardpoint will be gracing our screens in just a few moments. For Team WaR, something to look forward to. Their last Hardpoint was great.
Yes.
It's not been wonderful so far for the rest of it, but Hardpoint was great, and they'll be clinging on to that, saying, okay, we're back into this, let's get it on. On the other side, Boston, bad start, great last two maps, and a devastating control. So momentum is technically on their side as we head towards this next respawn.
Yeah, and all important, especially when we eye up this fourth map. You feel like WaR must come out hot. If this suddenly turns into a quick 60, 70 point lead for Breach, and it starts to smell of a series that will only see 4 maps. Can you build off of that map 1 victory? Because it took them a while to get going if you were WaR. It felt like Breach were going to run away with it at one point, but we're off. We're underway on Hacienda. And of course, for P1, we're flooding largely into middle. And the first couple of kills are pinstripe feed. It's trades all over the place.
Oh, you see everybody into the, what essentially is a kill box, if you want to give it the technical term. It's windows all round. Dangerous place to be. Boston Breach, though, looking to stack points as quickly as they can. Never expect too much from P1, if I'm honest, but they're doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, they're just Purge controlling that top hallway, ensuring that the boys on the point aren't really troubled, to be honest. And as Awakening finds Neum as well, Purge is on his bike. He's in through the back of P2 here. You don't read this if you're too real. You're so aggressive if you're Purge, and a flex in the truest sense. And Aim's in one pocket, a Jackal in the other, and Assault's going to be back down as the rest of his boys arrive in through the front of P2. And that is as clean a rotation as you can hope for.
Well, let's see. Boston looking to make this money. And at the moment, first kill's going down. Looking for it as well. Cammy trying to hold the line desperately, but he's going to be outgunned by Bink. Still sucking points here, Boston Breach. They have not been cleared out yet as well. Snoopy clears the back line. They've turned this into a head, but that is a massive reversal. Boston almost faltered onto that point, and now they have the advantageous position for the next 30 seconds. A little bit of a split push coming in here as well, but the advantage is to Boston. Better positioning, better gunfights, better points, and that is going to be a money hill as we go over to P3.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Purge just punches that path all the way through, and Snoopy, the decision to just continue to refill that back line. So many teams try and get a bit over aggressive in terms of stepping out towards P3, can hand over a large amount of that back 20-25 seconds, but Breach make sure they lock it down, and it's quickly become that 80-point game that we said if you're a Team WaR fan, you really didn't want to see. 2 of your players have 1 kill right now. Assault has 2. Wanted a third, doesn't find anything really. You will get Neum answer back. Could find something here onto Carry to make it a 2-piece, but I mean, you're swarmed, you're isolated, you're alone, and you are cut down. You do at least find kills over towards the new hill, but for how long did you start to see Boston swarm?
They're trying to get back into it as well, but this is a great break by Team WaR, trying to put the pressure. Unfortunately, Boston have a Snoopy, and this is turning into a massacre. This could very well hinge on these next couple of gunfights, because Boston will be looking to put them to the sword, and there's 100 points to 9 already. And for Team WaR, they're wondering where this has gone so wrong so fast.
I mean, in moments like this right now, you're arriving in ones, there's no creative hit, there's nothing to try and play potentially through middle or patio or try and pinch this situation. You're going to start this rotation over towards 3. You're going to be hotly contested for it. I feel like a lot of this is going to come from Assault because Cammy finds Neum, the doorway is there, but Assault takes enough damage that he's backed on off.
And there it is, 10-3 for Cammy. I told you it was a dangerous smile. Like, you've got to believe me, I've seen this guy play for many, many years. And at the moment, Team WaR are hoping that the momentum will shift at some point. Boston continue kicking them in the teeth, hill after hill.
It's going to be a front hit. If you are WaR, Neum's going to try and also then provide support through the middle. The trades do go WaR's way, and 2Real with a big 2-piece. So an opportunity to try and find 30 seconds then. You do get Boston looking at that play in through Lambo and in through mid. That is going to be a big moment here for Neum to try and support here and ensure that the reinforcements from Boston aren't getting there. But Cammy finds 2. Purge gets a beauty of a turn and burn. And just like that, Boston break it straight back open.
And that was a nightmare. Cammy got good timing. I don't know if you were watching the mini-map, but he managed to get through mid before a player could catch him. There was a player watching that cross as well. He did not get him, and then he turned, burned, and they were taken out of that point. Now we go back into P1. The game should slow down. They should be looking both sides for them, but that is already 3 down. Team WaR really struggling on this hard point as we look at it, 157 to 24. It's a madness.
And the air's just been sucked out of one side of the room. There is a clear lack of belief from these Team WaR boys right now. You are trailing 140. You are sitting on the precipice of losing your first series. And, well, for everything that has been a positive, that feels a long, long time ago for Team WaR right now as Boston continue to turn the screw. They are now in for P1, 30 seconds left. Look for P2. Niam is beginning that well rotation, so could set up something from the backside, but he needs his boys to do something at the front, and they just aren't.
And now for Team WaR, the story is this. Jubilant, map number 1. Not so great map number 2, but despair has now settled into their stomach like a cold river stone. They feel nothing but ice creeping up that spine as they start to realize, well, it turns out there are levels to this game. Oh my goodness, do Boston start throwing their weight around?
And it's beautiful as well. You're inside the point, you're back to back, you're fighting on all fronts, and you find everything. Bink and Assault will manage to come up with some answers as Assault bursts through the door to at least break. So that's a great time to do it with 45 seconds still left. Does feel a little bit like delaying the inevitable, but if comebacks are going to start, if you are going to rise from ashes, it's got to begin somewhere.
It would have to be one of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen in a hard point between top teams. 196 to 26 or something along those lines. And they'll look for it, they'll fight for it, they'll get this time with the P2. It's a hard break now for Boston as they're all going around the front, but Snoopy finds one. They're trying to get the bodies into there, but it is a choke point and they pay for it. Over to P3 at least.
And Cammy here looking to cut off any sort of well rotation. Hopefully going to hear that player coming in through mid as well, who is too real. Do you get the timing if you're Cammy? Well, you do catch a shoulder, so should be able to calm that one on out. That's going to hopefully help Snoopy out, who's got a 2 to fight up top. The answer is no. Cammy's going to try and hold close. Purge is going to try and play around your patio, but there's plenty of numbers here for WaR if they do manage to find the kills.
Cammy finds 2 as well onto this point. 18 and 10 now from him, but realistically, great scores all across the board for Boston Breach. They can end this here. It shouldn't end here, though. That's the key. Realistically, Team WaR should be able to contest this at least.
Wait on the point, finds that kill. Stepping off there will mean that we will at least see the next hill. And WaR, well, they're hoping to extend it ever further as they find 3. Cammy turns. Look to set himself up, but Niam with 4 in a row finds that break. And it does continue, of course, to feel like delaying the inevitable, but every kill, every little blow that WaR can find is confidence being brought back in here. And looking over towards that rotation, too, Real may have slipped the net here. He's making a water play, but he's got to time it with his boys arriving if they can. And, well, it's a solo here. It's 2, in fact, and that will break down that rotation.
It certainly is, and they've pushed out both sides. They don't even want Team WaR to see the point. They don't want them to even imagine that hope could burn, as everybody now has to run a gauntlet. 2Real already finds Snoopy. Middle going towards the open here as well. Awakening, holding down one side, Purge the other. Body's now flying in as Cammy kills everybody, including his teammates. And now they try to get back into it. Somehow Team WaR have found a way through after that team kill and are keeping this game alive.
Love the decision from Snoopy here. Skynade goes up. Find our way to re-hit this. We've still got 30 seconds. That's lots and lots of time to work this one through. But an answer from 2Real towards mid-map will give you, again, more just time if you are WaR. It's a break from Breach. Nice and early. 10 seconds to go, and this one's done.
And Cammy looking to try and get these last couple of kills here. Doesn't need to. They find everything into the kill feed. 6 seconds to go. A dream here for Team WaR because they cannot find their way to the point. And Boston Breach blow Team WaR out of the water on the final hard point.
Well, the dream was there for just a moment as we reeled.
Cammy looked furious.
The death of the map 1. And yeah, I mean, I don't understand that. I glanced over, I heard it, I looked over, and yeah, Cammy looked disappointed. I don't know if he wanted that to be 100-point clubbing or what, ruthless in his nature. But you're right, a confident Cammy is a very dangerous one. For Team WaR, I mean, you came here massively as underdogs, of course. Coming in as a challenger squad, you've had to make 2 changes, and you get this situation where you've walked away over map 1, a very good start to the S&D. All feels a long time ago right now, but when they VOD review this, looking at their games later on, there's at least plenty to be proud about, if not the result you wanted.
Wow. Welcome back, Lottie. That was certainly a show by Boston Breach.
It was indeed. I'll tell you what, it was a real story of 2 halves there. The first half, I was getting caught off guard. I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting there watching, thinking, "Ooh, I'm eating my words here." We were just talking moments ago about how there's an imbalance, and this might be a little bit tricky for Team WaR and Breach. They're just too strong. And my goodness, what a beginning from Team WaR. Incredible stuff, but I will say a completely different hardpoint to begin with from what we just ended with. And I will say, like, I'm impressed from both ends of it, to be perfectly honest. Team WaR, with how they came out and handled things, considering the cards that they've been dealt coming into this tournament. But then the way that Breach were able to bounce back was pretty significant, and it really did come down to the S&D for me. A little mistake there, I think, on the side of 2Real, allowed Breach back into it, and I think kind of handed to them ever so slightly, and it really was a blessing in disguise. Whether or not they would have been able to continue a comeback after that, you know, going 2-0 down in the series, is a whole other thing. But I will say Breach handled it very, very well and capitalized on the mistake, and that's all you can do is win what's put in front of you. But yeah, very, very impressed. How are you feeling about Breach seeing the kind of second half of that series, Enigma?
I think they look good. I think that it's the improvements in the control that I continue to like, because S&D, again, it's been their bread and butter all year long. We're not surprised to see them look strong there. In fact, if anything, I was stunned to see them lose the first couple of rounds. But they're getting better every single time we see them step out for that control, and that's what they can rely on when it comes to bigger matches down the line. Hard points, we still need a little bit of work. Yes, you look great in that map 4. I think WaR were walking a little bit wounded at that point. But for me, Breach, that's the 2-3-5 route continues to be the thing that can punch them deep into tournaments, and it seems to well and truly still be on.
Yeah, it does indeed. I've got to say also Cammy having a fantastic last map there. And good to see him. I know you're a big Cammy fan, Bryce, so this is your time, fella.
I knew that last map was going to be good for him. Like I said, I looked over. There was a wolfish grin on his face. Right,
Hungry.
and as soon as I saw that, I went, yep, this map's over. That guy is feeling it, and it's obvious, like, he's putting up numbers, he's putting up time. Rest of his team did very well as well. Purge, you can't really ignore either. A combination for them, but the most dramatic thing, actually, if you want to talk about Cammy, the most dramatic thing was wolfish grin in between map 3 and 4. End of map 4,
Yeah.
Furious.
Yeah.
I really want to know what happened, because Cammy looked incredibly angry at the end, and I don't know whether it was like, yeah, we've got this, or what's going on, but just seemed incredibly angry. I don't know, because he didn't get as much kills as he wanted to, or something. The game ended too soon for him. But yeah, most damage, best KD. They had a decent amount of time at the point as well, but realistically, a great bounce back there from Breach. Terrible map 1 for them. They really let it go in terms of rotations and fundamentals. The rest of the time, back to their best.
Yeah, and I think you can't really, I think it's hard to kind of, push on them or hop on it too much with the fundamentals. I mean, that's going to be lacking, clearly, in terms of the circumstances coming into this. It's really difficult with, what was it, a couple of days notice of Linz not being on the roster, having, I believe it was a week